Yeah, and it's always with SEO because it's a uniquely special channel. Like even digital being new to traditional marketers, right? Within a business, they get paid search, they understand email, and social media is the newest channel, but they sort of kind of understand social media. But SEO, even though it's not the newest channel, social media is newer than SEO, but it's so different to them that it's difficult to get there to understand it, right? And business leaders sort of view SEO as a dark art, right? And they almost don't want to deal with it, which is, in my opinion, one reason why they hire an SEO to handle it so that they don't have to deal with it. What would you say to a business leader that view SEO as something that they don't want to know or care about, but they need that educational bit of information to make decisions from a top line point of view? Because their decisions, of course, affect the implementation when we come to it.
I think to some extent the first thing you'd need to kind of go back and understand why that they don't want to have anything to do with it. Now, typically you find that it's either because they don't understand it fundamentally, they just don't get the intricate details, or they haven't got time to try and get their head around it more than anything. So it's making it and bringing it back into places where ultimately it does cross over with stuff that they do already that then has an impact to them. So, if you can do little things like, I don't know, inform customers throughout a customer journey better and rank content about your returns policy, improve your sizing guides and make them more readily available on the front end of the site, for instance, that will have a knock-on effect to returns. Yeah. If they understand stuff like returns are costing us loads of money, and you're saying actually, you can do stuff from a customer experience point of view and an SEO point of view to get better visibility on those two things, get the customers to understand them better, that has a knock-on effect to returns. Yeah. They'll be all open ears because they'll want to know straight away, okay, well, how do you do that? Like, what's the process? What do we need to do to facilitate or to help you with that? And then as soon as you get into those, ingrained parts with them a little bit, and you can slowly but surely bring them into a mindset where actually something that might have seemed like it was really dull and boring and had no that they think they might have an interest to it, when it's really actually hitting them on the bottom line on a serious cash level, they slowly start to want to understand it a little bit more because, any finer tweaks to it can actually have a huge impact on them. So I guess it's always been able to relate it back to the business commercials is the main factor with any SEO. And I think that is what a lot of people early on in SEO careers typically don't pick up on at first. Yeah. They want to see traffic. And I know I used to be really guilty of saying it when I was younger and in my more junior days, where I used to turn around and say, well, SEO is a traffic driving channel. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's like as if conversion was none of my business, but actual fact that's not really the case, because you may be bringing traffic in for a term, but it may not be a term that's actually suited to where the website functions at the moment. So you may not actually be bringing them in a term that's not overly relevant intent-wise or whatever. And it's actually changing perception and understanding that a bit better from a commercial point of view, that how you blend those two things and how you help the wider business in going down those different channels that they need to do from a browsing, conversion, transactional point of view, and that you get them down the funnel to, if you're an e-com site, down the funnel into a converting purchase. But yeah, it's definitely from a sort of higher up point of view, to be able to tie anything back into the commercials when you're doing a business case for anything is a great example. How do you turn around and estimate a value on that tech change that you're doing? It'll help you get everything implemented 10 times quicker as well. If you can actually give a figure on that, and not just plucking one out of thin air. Anyone can turn around and say, "Oh, make this change, you'll make another 50 grand." to be able to prove why and give them the details of why it's likely to make 50 grand and be able to put that on paper and give them those figures, you're more likely to get that implemented because they've got something to work off. They've got a basis of understanding there from a commercials point of view. And I think that's typically missed a lot. You know, like I say, we've probably more junior people in the industry at the moment. It's something that I would implore them to try to get their head around, and how building those. No doubt you'll have seen them 1,000 times. If you haven't, like I started doing like click-through models. So understanding, you know, if you improve 4 positions, what that's going to do from that search volume availability. What click-through rate? If you rank position 7, you get 10,000 clicks a month from that term, position 7. If you get it to position 5, is that going to go to 13,000 or 15,000 clicks? Okay, then what does that do with your average order value and conversion rate in order to make X amount more money? So by improving all rankings 2 positions, how do you model that across a category, for instance? Now you just impact that on, you know, you're making a change to breadcrumbs on the website, for instance. You say it'll improve rankings 1 position. What does that commercially do for you across this website? Just doing those little business case studies and working them out and getting them on paper and having something to show and display to people can get you that commercial buy-in right from the top all the way through to help you out with sizing a tech ticket and understanding its priority in a tech queue. And that's, you know, huge battles for anyone working in an e-com site is understanding how you can bump stuff that you need to bump up a tech queue, because otherwise you can be waiting for a long time and have nothing ever implemented at all. I've been
absolutely.
there, done that. It's not a pretty place and not a nice place to be in when you sat there, feel like you're banging your head on a brick wall because you can't get anything implemented. And you know, some of the smallest changes in the world that are not even going to be real dev changes can make massive differences. And you just can't persuade someone to do it.
So on that then,